everyone, and welcome back. Today we have another mono black pile that is vastly different than the last one that you would have saw on this channel. But why is this so different? It's because it wins by using hasty skeletons. Yes, you probably heard that right. If you haven't seen this deck on the ladder, this deck is the epitome of the eye test doesn't work well on it. When you're playing against it, you're like, what is my opponent doing? How are they doing this? And then all of a sudden you have 12 damage swinging at you on turn 4 or something, or 3, and you're like, what happened? Did this come from? Well, let's break it down real quick, do it very quickly, and then we can hop into the games. So what do we have here? We have turn 1 threats like the miner or the tiny bones. Tiny bones typically pretty good if we have the cut down to go with it. Or if our opponent plays a 1-drop, we can then play tiny bones, remove it, and then cast their 1-drop from the graveyard through contact of tiny bones hitting with our opponent. Other than that, we move on to our turn 2 play, where why is the text over the number? You see that? That's so weird. I don't like that at all. But our turn 2 play here is pretty simple. I moved it over there, and now it's not over top. That's so weird. Our turn 2 play is pretty simple. We have more removal, if not doubling down on some of these other 1-drops. And realistically, we want to play this case and lead into our final part of the kind of synergy of the deck, and that's Corpse of the Lost. This makes a 2/2 but gives all skeletons a +1/0 in haste, which allows us to attack for 9 on turn 3. But at the beginning of the end step, if you descend to this turn, which means a permanent card went into that graveyard from anywhere, you can have this return to hand, lose 1 life. Now, why is this so good? We play a miner on 1. We attack with it on turn 2 after playing a case. We hit them for 2. We have a 2/1, or maybe we do the tiny bones thing. But let's just simplify it here real quick. We hit for 2. We play this after. We have 2 skeletons to play. We play a corpse. We make another 2/2 skeleton. They're all 3 or whatever now. So this hits for 3. This will hit for 3. And then this will hit for 3. And that's 9 damage. And why is that important? Well, as you might know in my videos in the past, I've been pretty critical of the Bloodletter and the Rush of the Dread combo in terms of I like it. It just always seems like a gimmick and a gag at a lot of times. But what makes it so good in this deck and why it's a little bit more relevant and I kind of like it way more in this list is we are so aggressive early. Like we said on turn 3, we're swinging for 9 damage. That a Bloodletter just in general after that combat, if we swing that 9 again, actually can connect for 18 damage. So we have an aggressive strategy to actually just go along with Bloodletter, and we get to use Rush of the Dread as more of a kind of support piece, not necessarily a wombo combo, but we also have it for that against opponents that have removed our early threats because they've had to, whether that's using a lot of removal. Our Bloodletter actually gets to resolve because they've had to use so much removal early that now we can actually Rush to the Dread and do the combo with Bloodletter, in which we make them lose half their life, which gets doubled, and they automatically die. This will kill from any life total whatsoever. So outside of that, let's go ahead and hop to the game. The outro is already getting quite long, but if you guys like my content, please be sure to subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Been going up a lot. It's been very exciting for me, so let's go ahead and hop into the games. I go first. I mean, I kind of have the cool cards. I have some cool cards we're gonna keep. Play and pass. We can get this case down. We can get this corpse down. Start pushing the aggression. Green white land, a little bit interesting here. Makes me feel like it's enchantments, which will definitely be tough. Huh. Maybe our aggression will be good. You're 6. Got this card. This card makes his deck decent. And that's what really drives it forward for me. I didn't even really know this card existed that much until after. So with the green and white, get lost is possible. I could establish another corpse, but I think playing Bloodletter here is by far the more efficient thing. Because this becomes 12. Okay. Maybe it's broken, chat. I don't know. Every time I play against it, it feels like I should be winning, but I lose. And it's things like that, you know? Things like that. I go first. I have Corpse of the Lost. Sure. Land. Play the miner here. And then we have removal, which is sick. Looks like it's potentially going to be relevant, although they might play a bigger creature that I can't deal with on the next following turn. attack. This can't block anyway, so might as well get aggressive. Sure. Never go for it, chat. Never go for it. I clearly have something. I'm not. Oh, very cool. I think we just wait one turn. Just long goodbye the Swiss Spear and then cut down the Kimono, maybe. Yeah. Sweet. Now, of course, if they were to cast Play with Fire and make that bigger, I would definitely cut it down then, but... see. Second Swiss Spear coming in. Sure. Uh-huh. Yes. Oh, we're going to finally commit to the board. Yes. Cut this down. Long goodbye here. And then I'll take 2 damage. And now I will turn on the pressure if I can. Down to 10 they go. We're kind of looking fine. Obviously, a slick shot and a unhindered turn can change a lot of that math. Right now, I do have lethal if I draw a land with Bloodletter and they don't answer my board, but it looks like they're going to. Monstrous Rage. Sure. Kind of appreciate the sorcery speed. No reason to go to combat. Make it more complicated than it needs to be. Oh. That sucks. Who's this guy? This is a vampire demon. Minor is 6 damage. Seemingly a lot of damage. I have to block. Two cards in hand. We know they haven't been hitting their land drops. Lightning Strike, Play with Fire is 5 damage, and that would be the extra 4, so we have to block. Also, Monstrous Rage is like a card, but it doesn't work necessarily as well as you would like it to ever. But we draw a land? No. Okay. Sick. Back half your creatures rounded up. You have 1, so it should be the 1. Yep. There's a combat for 3. Let's see it. Camp, sure. This one. I'll take a shot. They could buff it and then shoot something. Yep. Oh, they're just saying good game. Okay. They obviously could have killed this creature. Then I could buy that back, and then they're in top deck mode, but I'm not going to buy that back. I mean, the game was close as this. Why do hands want to look like this? It's so weird. Like, I like want to keep it, but I can't even cast this, nor this, if I don't draw a swamp. And this is like barely castable. Maybe that's fine though. Sure, dude. I don't know. It's so weird to look at a hand like this and just be like, pass. Golgari it is, huh? Do the mana efficient play here. Play a 2/1 Skelly Man. This one's going to have to go on Skeleton because I can't afford to not do that. Tiny Bones. Could have done all this post-combat, but they're not going to remove this. They don't have to regardless. Most people don't. At least now another straight up swamp in our hand is working out pretty well. Yeah, I just don't think there's a world in which they cut down this post. Like, I think they just take the damage. Virtue that, sure. Miss a land drop, cool. I also miss a land drop opponent. So it's fine. Don't worry about it. I almost just want to get rid of this 2-1. But I know with this matchup that this Bitter Triumph's probably going to be really valuable. Sick. Oh, we find an answer regardless. I could. Well, I guess I have to hit the land, right? That's Bloodletter. Hope it sticks. Seems to be sticking. Down. Down, down, down. Play Shieldred. We rip a land, we have lethal. Didn't quite rip a land, but ripped a card that's good nevertheless. I could have just exiled these. We definitely just go ahead and pay 3 life on this. Get this out of the way. Then pay that, bring that back. That's now gone. Now we hit, we take 8 off their life total, down to 6. And then we can play Corpse here, and then it's lethal. Like, even if they get rid of Aklizox. Or if they make a 2-3 lifelinker. We have like a ton of ways to win this game. Okay, I'm just gonna do it the easy way. Ripping that and then just attacking here. See, idealistically, you would think Golgari would be good. Okay, to be fair, they did miss the land drop for 1 turn, so that's probably not a fair assumption to make. But you would think Golgari would actually be pretty good against this matchup. But go first, I have removal, decent card. Kind of an okay card, but 4 mana and it's pretty clean. I can make sure like my big stuff doesn't get countered. Double maul for my opponent. Very quick double maul. They like didn't even consider that second hand. They just chucked it so fast. Sure. Best case scenario that this matchup makes my cut down good. Best case scenario made my cut down good. I'm just gonna go ahead and use it now. Just to be super mana efficient about it. I have things I want to do over these next couple turns, and this is a pretty good draw. Against this matchup, I will refuse to play this because it's Convoke, and I'm not giving them two dogs to make huge. I would prefer not to do that. Inspector, we see a Gleeful Demolition. We see a Warden, which is what this Bitter Triumph will be shooting. Assume it's going to be tap, tap, and tap. Make that bigger. Leave on top, which can mean a lot of things. Could mean quite a lot of things. Get this out of the way now. Attack again. Again, this can't block, so we have no reason to kind of hold it back. We need to be aggressive with it to kind of inevitably force them to block it. Yeah, sure. Those be 1/1s. Those be more 1/1s. They're in top deck mode now. Sure. So I'd rip a good card. I rip a mediocre card probably. This doesn't really matter, so let's just have it named on Vampire, sure. Let's just do this. At least represent cut down. Arena's trying to get me not to do that. Will they block? It's actually worse. I would say it's worse if you block that. So bad. We ready to see them put the enchantment in play and then me just get throttled here? Take the bigger one out, I guess, if I'm going to take one out. This is weird because I think I have to leave up my removal. I think I have to. And then just use this as like discard fodder almost. You have an end to festivities or something? You just don't want this to go away? I wouldn't either, to be honest. You drew a land. Sure. Block. Long goodbye one. Safe to take 4 here. Actually don't. I think I actually just take the 4. Weirdly as that sounds. I think this makes a 2-2. This one. Set up for a very dangerous turn. Get lost. Oh my, dude. The Convoke players, they're evolving. Oh. It's like the saddest way to lose. Just 2 ward. This doesn't block. Well, in pretty much the same place. This is a 6. It'd be 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, man. So bad. So bad. To ensure this thing lives, I guess. We'll take a Tiny Bones because it makes sense to keep it. Now we'll make another skeleton. The skeleton can actually block. We're just holding the line. We are trying to hold the line here. They concede. They concede. Ah! What? I actually can't believe they conceded. We go first. I mean, we rip a land here into another one. I am feeling like we're cooking. So I'm definitely going to try. I will actually even take a land off if you want to give me a Tiny Bones. Okay, I'll take the land. It's what I asked for. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. This will hit. And then we'll play Corpse into Corpse maybe. Or into a Bloodletter, which will significantly increase the amount of damage. Our 3/2s doing double is better than 4/2s hitting. Tenacious Underdog, sure. Another land, wow. This comes in. These are now huge. I attack for 9. I feel like there's a block. They take 9? What? Dude, our opponent is a national hero. Sure. Sure. Are you attacking? No, that makes sense. Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's make it so hard. Grow and grow. In there. We're in there. Get everything out of here. It's all trading. It's all going away. That makes sense. And we'll put one of these back in our hand. We'll keep the other one on the battlefield. Flying that one. Another reason why is because I still like the fact that we have the buff. Archfiend and a concession. Very cool. Very, very cool. Oh yeah, I'll keep of the basketball game and on in the background for whenever I'm queuing up, and basically said a defender was guarding somebody like braces on a crooked tooth, and I don't know why, it was just really funny to me. Oh boy. Well, you know, Oregon's control is probably a nightmare matchup for the most part. Temporary lockdown being pretty devastating overall. But here we are. We hit the 4th land drop, so I mean, we're trying. Kind of just want to solve this case, but also against control, you kind of want to just want to be about it, you know? Sure. That actually is great for us because that helps make us 2-1 like a legitimate threat, even though they might temporarily lock down it. But getting lands off the top as well is pretty nice. Now we can cut it down if needed. 2 lands off the top. Okay. Relax, buddy. Think I want this many lands? No, thank you. No, sir. Could have had a corpse on top. That'd have been super sick. Don't worry. We're making our land drops. You're reading case for the 4th time. You're allowed to just read it. I won't mind, I promise. Okay, we rip another land. Kind of this tail here. Counter it, dude. Go for it. Well, part of me wants to cut this down. Oh, no counter. It's getting destroyed now. But part of me wants to... You have it. Didn't have it. Yeah, sometimes to be the aggro player, you just have to slam it and hope your control opponent doesn't have any counter magic. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it fails. Who cares? Alright. Yeah, we'll keep this. Play a Schwamp. Play a Tiny Bones. You chillin'? What do you got for me, opponent? You got a creature? Sure. Sure do. Vampire. Could have named Skelly, but I didn't. Attack, hit. Yep. We will hit, make our blood token. Now I have a threat. Warden, probably a better creature, to be honest. Dude, can I stop getting gleeful demolitions? My opponents are bullying me, and I'm not having fun. Aw, you don't want my tiny bones to get value? That's so messed up. That's so funny. Well, you know, honestly, with no tiny bones in hand, let's have our opponent figure it out for us. We're in there. Good double block tiny bones. They do. We hope they block with the other 1/1 on their Epicure, so I can then long goodbye their Warden, but they don't. Huh. Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's just ward this up. Now they have to make a decision here. And then I can still long goodbye this. Or even end it, if that's worth it. Obviously, it's way more worth it if it's not in play. Or if not a second one's not in play. But who knows? Scry and leave on top. The end will also shuffle that away. Nope. Kind of our big bully card right now. We miss. I'll let the rush go. Rush is pretty bad without the other land. Find the other land. Just tiny bones in play. Get this off the battlefield. Make their knights a little bit weirder. And just hold the line for a while. They sack that clue, they draw that card, so even if I had the end available, I guess they could have always drawn it. Office Inspector number 3, I think? No, I've just played against Convoke so much today. I don't know how many copies of cards we've been playing. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably attack and cash in. They do. Yeah. No, let's pass. I think just trading here makes sense. Not sure. I have to just control my life total as long as I can. Okay, well. I mean, not a whole lot I can do about this. Yeah. They're on a 2-turn clock. I think there's like 0 chances I have here. The only chance I have is they tap these for some reason. Yep. Oh, boy. I don't know. Move a creature. They have Immodanes in hand. Yeah, and search. Another land off the top. Yep. Pretty much a 0%er. Not a 0%er, but like a less than 30, almost 40% to hit those lands like that. But I did, because, you know, it is what it is. Alright, well, when it's first, I can Tiny Bones cut down, or I might have to cut down first. Another Boros land. Will I escape it, or will I fall victim to it once again? Who knows? Yes, guy control, never mind. My opponent is different. Sure. Oh yeah, my favorite opponent. Slam it, get it countered. Nope. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good sign for us. Go ahead, lock me down. I'll name Skeleton here, put this in. We'll cut down a dog. Which, saying that out loud somehow makes me upset. No! Am I that fast at clicking the button? Bro, I clicked that so fast. I tried to... so mad, dude. Whatever. I'd like to move to combat, opponent. Will you allow me this? Here. Sure, if you got it, you got it. Pop off, King. Good old 9 damage out of nowhere. Memory Deluge. Okay. Also, you notice that putting this in for the ward cost actually evades giving our opponent 2 creatures. Because it does not re-enter the battlefield. It just flips. You're allowed to do it during combat. It's uninteractable. It's very, very cool. My favorite, actually. Yeah, let's do this. We're should have countered this. Which they won't have another one available because of Field of Ruin. Nice. We'll actually come away with the win here. Team. Aha. Play this guy. They'll make 2 dogs. They'll be like, I'm safe. Cut down the dog. The menace creature will strike again. And just like that, we go 2 fast, 2 furious. And dodge counter spell against our control opponent. This deck, man, it really just does it. It's so... This deck is about as annoying as I find these decks to be sometimes. Don't get me wrong, this deck is super cool. I love new archetypes in terms of decks that aren't necessarily meta when they come out and they kind of pop off. But this deck is the absurd. Whenever you're playing against this deck, you feel like you're in an unlosable matchup, and then all of a sudden it flips over the Haunted Bone Brute and you get hit for 7, and you're like, what happened? Hold on, pause. What happened? What do you mean this gives haste and buffs them and makes a skeleton and hits me for a ton? What do you mean you have the combo in here after I have dealt with all your early aggression whenever you played a miner into a case, into a corpse, and I deal with all that, and you're telling me you're going to play a bloodletter into a Rush of the Dread? It's so funny and so cool at the same time. But that's why it's so annoying when you lose this deck. Because if you stop all the aggro, you can run the risk of dying to the combo. If you stop the combo, you run the risk of dying to all of the aggro. And if you're a creature deck, a lot of times, outside of Convoke, obviously, because they can do whatever they really want and it doesn't matter, we can remove your important threats and get them out of our way. So whenever we're trying to get in and get through that combat damage, we can do that. You see here we have a couple extra long goodbyes. That's obviously for the Esper matchup whenever we need to remove our fiends and also play around counter magic and we need that threat out of the way. But I will say, as we get dragged into the late game, that's where this deck starts to teeter off and starts to run into quite a bit of problems in that retrospect, because you can't necessarily haste creatures stop working after so long. Like, obviously they're kind of always good and having haste is always good, but eventually the thing with corpse is it eventually stops being that relevant whenever your opponent started putting in bigger and bigger creature. As we saw in one of the matchups, our opponent put a Gissa in play theirself, committed a crime, made zombies, and then the corpse was never going to get us through that. We really had to go for the combo and hope they didn't remove it, and we were in top deck mode, rip the land, I think, and we end up falling short there. Other than that, we benefit a lot. Tiny Bones is a very cool early game card that we love to play, especially whenever we have a cut down in hand, because then we Tiny Bones cut down their first threat as well. And we play it for ourselves, building a board state without necessarily using cards from our hand, which is very sweet. And other than that, the deck's just cool. I still don't, like, I'm still kind of lukewarm on the combo. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the combo. In general, it always feels like a gotcha thing that only kind of works in best of one, but that's kind of the point here. That's what we want to do. And the reason I don't mind it in this deck in comparison to like the other decks is the other decks were kind of grind them, grind, counter their stuff, try to make sure that we clear away, and then have a counter spell for whenever we play a bloodletter, counter their removal hopefully, or counter the thing they try to stop our Rush of the Dread with. So this combo ends up becoming like a 6 mana situation for bloodletter and a 7 mana spot for Rush of the Dread. But in this deck, because of the early aggression and being so hard to kind of stop whenever you got these things coming in for a ton of damage, like this is 2 into 2 or for 4 that turn. By the time this can attack, it's actually way more, because if you corpse, then everything's larger. This hits for 3, this hits for 3, and that hits for 3. So it's 9 damage on that kind of turn 3 swing out there, along with having already hit for 2 damage. So that's a total of 11. Has to be answered. That's where this combo kind of comes in and feels a lot better. Or we can use Rush to the Dread just kind of as a 4 mana make you sacrifice a thing there if we have extra copies, and then Bloodletter after, and that will be lethal because that 9 damage becomes 18 very quickly and our opponents are removed promptly from the game. So outside of that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.